Hey, I'm Victoria Vertuga. In the spring of 2014, an unemployed struggling novelist named Eric Muss-Barnes started a video series called Luthorville. Luthorville documents his purchase of 10 acres of land in the Mojave Desert to build his dream house, a technologically advanced, off-grid homestead called Galatea Meridian. Eric knows his stuff. He was recruited by Walt Disney, where he became a cast member and built websites for over 6 years. He was even courted by Apple Computers to program ebooks. So if you're a hiring manager, remember that you can hire Eric to telecommute from anywhere in the world, whether you're in San Diego or New York City, Florida or New Zealand, North Dakota or Northern Ireland. You can always add his skills to your team. Can he manage to find a job and successfully finance the stream before he runs out of money and becomes homeless? Let's hope so. Here's the weekly update on his job hunt.
If you want to know more about my job experiences, you should check out my book, How You Can Get a Job at Walt Disney Studios Without a College Degree, which outlines all of my job experiences before I got into Disney. Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to an episode of Luthorville. So this episode is a little different than some of the others that I've done. When I started the whole idea of Luthorville, I wanted to create a series of different videos. I wanted to make some that were, questions and answers. And I wanted to make some that were product reviews. I wanted to do other videos that were like a step-by-step process. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was to also document my whole job hunting effort. Now, my original intent was to have weekly updates and post all of those separately as videos. But the more I thought about it, I realized that will probably become rather tedious for you, the viewers. You probably don't really care. So I figured maybe I should consolidate it down into something much shorter. So what I decided to do was break it up into 5 separate videos. And what I did was I actually kept a journal of my job hunting efforts. So the plan is that I will read you this journal in 5 episodes. Now, before I get started, the reason that I did this was because for those of you who have seen older episodes of Luthorville, you know that there's always that exit, and on the original video there's an intro that talks about the fact that I started this whole project while unemployed, and I was looking for a job. That was the first step of the process. Well, there are a lot of people out there who are looking for jobs, and it can be very disheartening and it can be very frustrating when you're going through that process. So I thought, I'm going to find work eventually, but it would probably be kind of a good idea to document that process and to share that with people so that others can realize that despite the struggles you're going through, we're kind of all in this together. And I'm sure some of the things that I'm going to talk about and some of the feelings that I had while going through that process will be things that you understand and things that you can relate to. So, without further jabbering, let's get started. So week number 1 was the 8th of March in 2014. It says, okay, I finished writing my latest 3 novels. Now I'm determined to get a job as fast as I possibly can. So I've started sending out resumes every single day. And when I say every day, I mean every day. No breaks, no slacking. I'm never taking a day off. Well, I'm taking off on the weekends, since no one will be posting new jobs on Saturday or Sunday. Therefore, I skip sending out resumes on Friday and Saturday. See, obviously every company has a different policy about when they post jobs. Some might post first thing in the morning, some might post in the afternoon, some at the end of the day. Now, since I have no way of knowing when new jobs are posted, I do my searches in the evenings. That way, regardless of what time of day a company posts their openings, I can be sure all the new postings from that day are available. When people arrive first thing the next morning, they will see my resume submission. That's why I give myself Fridays and Saturdays off, because no one is in the office on Saturdays or Sundays. Make sense? Whoa, hey, see that little jump in there? Yeah, nothing like having your camera die after you recorded the whole thing. Let's start again, shall we? So, to end the first week of March 8th, 2014, it says, by the way, today, the 8th of March 2014, was the very first time I ever tried to visit the desert property I'm thinking of buying. Note I said tried, not that I actually got there. In fact, I tried to get there from 2 different directions and I chickened out both times because I didn't want to risk riding my street bike motorcycle on dirt roads. I may have to park and walk there. I was considering doing that on my first trip, but my GPS indicated that sunset was in 45 minutes and walking to the land would take an hour. So I knew it was time to head back home. I didn't want to be walking 2 miles through the desert in the dark with no flashlight and no firearm. There's coyotes and bobcats and rattlesnakes out there. I'm not walking around in the dark unarmed. That would just be stupid. All right, that was week number 1. Week number 2, the 15th of March, 2014. It says, 3 updates for you this week. Back on March 11th, I met with people at a job placement agency called Talenter in Santa Monica, which was suggested to me by one of my fellow cast members from Walt Disney Studios. That was cool, and they seemed like really nice folks, so we'll see if they can set up some interviews for me. On March 13th, I met with another placement agency called Creative Circle. I was actually registered with them back when I first moved to Los Angeles, but they never set up any interviews for me. We'll see if they do better this time. I was not impressed with them, as they are very primitive in their business practices and extremely inefficient and archaic in their understanding of technology. Case in point, Creative Circle had me fill out an online application for their company, plus they expected me to bring a printed copy of my resume to the interview. I have my resume available on my website in PDF and text and Word documents. Let me get this page out of here. There we go. Okay. Plus, I filled out their online resume. There was no way I was printing them a 3rd copy. This is the 21st century, not 1953. Get with the times, Creative Circle. When a prospect has a resume on their website, plus you make them fill out an online application, print it yourself. That's why I make it available to companies via my website, so you can print it. I do have great news for my writing career. An agent at Writer's House, one of the biggest agencies in New York, actually asked to see one of my manuscripts for my novel, The Page of Wands. So I'm very excited about that. We'll see if I hear back from her. Fingers crossed. Okay, week number 3. And it says, this is the 22nd of March, 2014. And it says, back on the 19th, I went to Luthorville for the first time, and I shot some video and walked around. It says, job hunting was absolutely nothing this week. That's always disappointing and depressing. Lots of contractor roles keep getting offered to me. I don't know why that seems to be so popular these days. Back when I started at Disney in 2006, temporary contracting was quite a rarity. Now, there are all these recruiters from overseas who want to hire me for a 6-month contract in Rhode Island. First of all, I'm not responding to foreigners with unpronounceable names who barely speak English. Okay, when your first and last name are each 15 letters long and they only contain 2 vowels, I'm not answering you. That's not being prejudiced, that's just being practical. I can't return your phone call if I can't pronounce your name and if I can't understand a single word you are saying. I actually saved some of these messages. For those of you who think I'm exaggerating, check this out and tell me if you can understand anything this woman says.
Hi Eric, this is Sigourney from Medford. I was trying to reach you to schedule your interview for the end client Apple. Please give me a call back at 630-847-1331. Thank you.
7:28 p.m. Wednesday. Message 4.
Hi, this is actually calling from Hospital. My call is regarding of job opportunity in the senior web development. Location is Los Angeles in California. State currently available in this market. Reach me and my number 732-645-7831. Once again, repeat 732-645-7831. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
10:58 a.m. Thursday.
Second, why on earth would I want to uproot my life in California to work for 3 months in Michigan or 6 months in New Hampshire? I mean, that's just crazy. However, Something amazingly cool did happen this past week. Back on the 19th of March, wait, I already told you that part because I wrote it twice and I didn't bother to look over this again before I started reading to you. So, sorry, that's... It basically says, I visited Luthorville for the first time. I want to name it that in honor of Superman because of the scene where Lex Luthor is buying up desert property. So, let's move on, shall we, to week number 4. Yes, week 4. Week number 4 is the 29th of March, 2014. And originally, I should add, I was going to shoot these videos in my apartment, and then I was going to move out here to Luthorville and start shooting once I got the property, but obviously that ain't happening now. Now everything's being shot out here in Luthorville. So, that's what the first sentence of this update says. It says, all my past job hunting videos were in my apartment in North Hollywood. This week I'm coming to you from the parcel of desert I'm thinking of buying. That is happy and exciting news, but sadly on the job front, just like last week, there are no job updates this week either. I sent out 40 resumes and contacted a few more literary agencies in New York to see if anyone wants to represent me as a writer. But no one seems interested in any of my 5 novels or my job skills. That's okay though. When people finally start to take the time to read my resume and actually do their research and look up my skills and experience and check out all my numerous projects, they will definitely come to appreciate my value. It's only a matter of time. I just need to be patient. In all my life, I've only met 2 people who come anywhere near me in terms of their experience and accomplishments. My friends Max Wetstein and Jason Tamarick. Those 2 have accomplished a heck of a lot in their lives. And other than those 2, I've never met anyone with the kind of creativity and experience that I have. Now, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, and I know that sounds really conceited, but I swear I'm a humble fellow. I just haven't met anyone else who can enumerate as many things as I've done. If they have, they certainly haven't documented it to the extent that I have. Half the reason I moved to Los Angeles in 2003 was because I was hoping to meet my peers. I thought California, helps when you can read your own writing. I thought in California, I'd be surrounded by visionaries to find my tribe. Unfortunately, now that I've lived here for 11 years, actually 13 years. When I wrote this, it was 11, but now it's 13. Now that I've lived here for 13 years, I discovered Los Angeles is filled with a lot of slackers who talk about projects, but never work to make them happen. Dreamers are useless if they are all talk and no action. But that's okay. Despite being largely unappreciated in my job hunting, I'm still confident it's only a matter of time before people recognize that I'm doing something special. Things will work out. We just gotta hang in there. So there you go. There's the first update. So there will be 4 more. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Luthorville, and hope to see you in another one.
Remember when I mentioned that Eric is a writer? He's actually written 8 books, including 5 novels. All of his books are available in paperback and hardcover as a special order from any major bookstore and from every online bookseller you can imagine. However, if you really believe in the Luthorville Project and want to support it, you can pay any price you want for one of his ebooks. Be sure to check them out at dovesheinc.com or just look him up at your favorite bookseller.
Luthorville is an educational series inspiring kids and adults to become excited about innovations in science and technology by documenting the design and construction of a Mojave Desert homestead called Galatea Meridian. Witness the crazy story of how Eric Muss-Barnes, an unemployed computer geek and struggling novelist, risks homelessness by spending most of his life savings to build an off-grid dream house in the middle of nowhere. Having purchased vast acres of the Old West, can Eric find a stable job and create his home before his money runs out? Take a journey where fortitude and a pioneering spirit continue to forge the American dream on the romantic landscape of the American frontier.